Hello. So there's this energy of getting clarity, seeing truth, seeing clearly, and like almost something finally clicking, almost like this kind of energy around, like, when you put the last puzzle piece and then you see the bigger picture, you understand almost like kind of the lesson or what was really going on. Yeah, just some kind of clarity. Because you're not to be a fool here. Five of Cups. Clarity around a negative mindset, almost like a negative approach. It's actually almost really like this energy of struggling around letting go. Like the change that is required after radical acceptance or just clarity, the kind of recognition of maybe the loss or the one second. So the Seven of Swords fell on the ground. So it's almost actually like the way in which we perceive loss. And it's 111 on my timer and it's 3:21 on my clock. So it's almost like you kind of struggle sometimes with seeing loss as something big, something heavy, something very like something to miss out on or to try to protect yourself from experiencing. But this is like an old subconscious kind of thing that kept you stuck in spaces you really weren't meant to be involved in or around in so long. And so you're seeing how this really affects, like there's a clarity moment around how this affects your ability to tap into your abundance or manifest things that you truly want, like truly want, not just something your ego wants, but your soul. Yeah, the hidden desires, the deep hidden desires that lie within. And it's just, there was something about the way that you perceive loss that came from a lack mindset. Like, oh, I'm about to lose maybe like everything. Or like, say this is like a person, like a relationship. Like, oh, if I lose this person, I lose my everything because you had such an attachment. You had such a lot of love or a lot of care, a lot of respect or consideration, compassion for this person, and it's like maybe they push too far. This could also be for friends and family, like people that kind of just push buttons, test patience. It's like things that really just stress you out, but you hold on to them out of this lack mindset, this fear of loss. So this could be kind of wrapped around abandonment wounds and recognizing how abandonment wounds are really like your fear of loss is subconsciously the way you actually really abandon yourself, because it's like you're so scared to miss out on something you feel is so like for you or you're just so attached to that you lose yourself in it. You lose yourself in it. Ace of Swords. But you see this now, right? 3:11 on my timer. You see this now. There's no ignoring this truth. It's like burning bright. This illumination is like a flashing light. Like literally, hello. So hello. Recognizing this as a whole is something that's going to bring your creativity back. And I saw 333 as I said that. It's going to bring back your spark. It's going to bring that inner like trinity of connection within self, like centering back to the self. If you think of like the triskelion, it's kind of the power point between land, sky, and water. Or if you think about kind of like the Holy Trinity, the mind, body, soul. Sorry, I don't think that's the Holy Trinity actually, but like you get what I mean. Like the dynamics, it's the three, it's the start of the inner abundance. And so you realizing that you really aren't losing out on so much brings back the creativity to charge forward to the future with curiosity, with hope, with excitement, because you're not as afraid of change, because you're not letting the fear of abandonment, the fear of missing out, the fear of losing miss out. So there could be like something around the affirmation of like, what's for me will not miss me. And I say that we have the Ace of Wands here. So it's like kind of soothing yourself through these times, learning to address loss as something that is maybe more freeing or illuminating. 444, something to teach, to learn from. Letting go sometimes allows for space for clarity. It allows for understanding. It also allows for like revision. You know, when you have a lot of energy, you're investing in things that drain you. When you start to kind of turn that into something that, I don't know, like invests in you and pours out of you, it's freeing. And I just saw 511. So it's like sometimes these truths come with really heavy weight, but once you allow yourself to grieve and process through them, that weight gets let go. So also anything else that was tied to it, any past thought processes, or things along those natures also leave with it when you kind of let go of this. So releasing this abandonment wound, addressing where it truly comes from, and recognizing how it affects the way in which you move and show up in the world around you, that's what this clarity is. It's seeing the bigger picture of how the abandonment wound allowed you to kind of learn to abandon the self, which is not fair on the self. So what else about this? Is there anything else? Ooh. Seeing things from a new perspective. Yeah, this is also going to give you Page of Wands reverse, or not reverse, sideways. This is also kind of giving you the clarity or the closure you need to walk away from certain things. Because it's not, some of these things are not so much personal, it's just like kind of the way in which your mind perceives certain things. So you have to challenge the way your mind is perceiving loss or perceiving letting go or moving forward. Because it may not be something that feels, or it's like the feeling can be intense, the grieving can be intense, but sometimes we have to recognize that like those kinds of losses do heal, like they do help, they do heal. It may not always feel that way, but if you're so focused on the lack, that's literally all you're gonna find. That's kind of what Spirit is saying here. Yeah, if you can kind of use this time to transmute this loss, this grief, into something to keep seeing the Empress and the Emperor. And then I see 711 on my timer. You can turn it into something that helps you grow into like your higher self, like connect you more with your higher self and both kind of sides of yourself, both the higher masculine and feminine energies that dwell within you. Like you can really use this time to alchemize some real wisdom and implement into your life, but it's whether or not you're willing to kind of allow yourself to process the grief in a way that transmutes and alchemizes, or if you kind of like stay in the grief, like stay stuck in the loop of grief. Because when you allow yourself to absorb the truth with clarity and certainty and groundedness, it allows you to be really committed to something that you're trying to unlearn and heal from, which is like a lack mindset, a survival mindset that keeps you staying in places longer than you need to, or keeps you potentially like in like a delusional thing, or like a hopeful optimism that comes from a sense of delusion. And it's also something about teaching you around what commitment really is, what it really looks like. And it starts from within, because once you get that discipline and you show up in that energy, you implement that lesson, you stop repeating the need to address it. So yeah, back to that Ace of Wands. This clarity is kind of challenging. Back to the Empress. I keep seeing it. What the heck? It's really challenging you to be open to choosing new choices, choosing new paths, and letting the outcome kind of like help you learn to navigate like better, but still having to choose those new choices. You have to choose something different to get a different result. But you have to be committed to that choice. You have to be committed to learning the lesson and choosing different. So your eyes have been opened. You're very wise, you know. Say that with the Queen of Wands splitting too. You're very wise. So what are you gonna do with this wisdom? You know better now. So what more could we possibly do? That's all I have. So thank you for being here. Have a blessed day.